With our schedules, it's like fitting in a daily workout. Sometimes it just feels impossible, right? But then there's that whole weekend warrior thing. You know, hitting it hard Saturday, Sunday, hoping to make up for, well, a week of sitting. But does that really work?
Well, the good news is there's actually tons of research on this.
Mm.
And one study that really caught my eye, it's the UK Biobank study. They looked at a massive group, 89,000 people, tracked their activity, their health, everything.
89,000. That's like a whole city, practically.
Right. And what's amazing, it's not just a one-time thing. They follow these folks for years. So we get a way better picture, of how these workout habits, they play out long term.
So what'd they find about our weekend warriors? Can we really offset a week of, let's be honest, being kind of sedentary with a couple of hardcore gym days?
So here's the super encouraging part, all right? This study, they looked at the risk of over 200 diseases. And I mean everything, heart disease, cancers, even bone stuff. What they found was people cramming their workouts into a day, maybe two, their risk was way lower than those who were mostly inactive. In fact, their risk reduction, remarkably close to those who exercised regularly all week.
Wow. So even if you miss that 6 a.m. yoga class every day, being active on the weekend, it still makes a huge difference.
And it makes sense when you think about it. It's not just about burning calories in those 2 days. It's about triggering these positive changes inside. And those changes, they stick around.
Makes total sense. But let's get specific, okay? We've been talking about 200 diseases. What are some examples where weekend warriors, they saw the big benefits?
Let's start with hypertension, high blood pressure.
That's right.
The UK Biobank study, they found weekend warriors had a 23% lower risk of developing it compared to, the less active folks. Now, those who exercise regularly, they saw a 28% reduction.
Okay, close numbers, which is good news for our weekend warriors. Seems like just getting that heart pumping, even if it's just on the weekend, it's really powerful.
Absolutely, it seems that way. Really drives home that message. Any movement, it's better than none. When it comes to our health, at least.
What about other conditions, like diabetes? Did that follow a similar pattern?
It did. And actually, the difference in risk reduction between weekend warriors and regular exercisers, even smaller for diabetes. Weekend warriors, 43% lower risk. The regulars, 46%.
Wow. So 2 days a week, getting that heart rate up, it can be a game changer when it comes to preventing diabetes.
Yeah.
Let's be real, though. Weight management, it's huge for a lot of us. What about weekend warriors and, well, obesity?
Now, here's where we see a bit of a gap, right? Weekend warriors, still fantastic, 45% lower risk of obesity. But those who are consistently active throughout the week, they took the lead, 56% reduction in risk.
So for weight, spreading those workouts out might give you a bit of an edge. Why do you think that is? Could it be, that daily movement helps you make healthier choices, like all week long?
That's a really interesting point. Could be. It's possible that regular exercise, it's got this more consistent effect on your metabolism, right? Or maybe, like you said, you're less likely to grab that extra slice of cake if you've had a good workout that day. Who knows? Could be a bunch of things working together.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about the workout itself. It's how that regular activity, it kind of spills over into other parts of your life. Okay, we've got blood pressure, diabetes, weight. What about sleep? Can being a weekend warrior actually make you sleep better?
You bet. This UK Biobank study, it found both weekend warriors and the regularly active folks, they had a lower risk of getting sleep apnea. That thing that disrupts your sleep all night long.
So even if I'm doing all my workouts on Saturday, Sunday, I could still see benefits to my sleep during the week.
That's what the research is hinting at, yeah. And think about it. When you're physically active, no matter when you do it, it can really help regulate that sleep-wake cycle. Plus, it can boost your mood. Both of those, they lead to better sleep.
Music to my ears. But what about the bigger picture? This study, it focused on preventing these problems, right? But what about the impact of these weekend warrior workouts on things like heart health or even how long we live?
Now you're talking. And to answer that, we have to go beyond the UK Biobank study. We're going to dive into some other fascinating research, and I think you'll be happy to hear it's still really good news for those weekend warriors out there.
All right, so we're moving beyond the UK Biobank now. What other cool research did you find, especially about weekend warriors and, their hearts?
Well, there's this study just came out last year, found that weekend warriors, they had, get this, really similar reductions in their risk for major heart stuff compared to regular exercisers. We're talking heart attacks, atrial fibrillation, even stroke.
So even if you're, cramming all those workouts into 2 days, you still get those heart-healthy benefits, like the same as someone at the gym all the time?
That's what it's looking like. Actually, this study, it found weekend warriors had a 27% lower risk of having a heart attack compared to, inactive people. Now, the regular exercisers, they had a 35% lower risk.
Those numbers, they're pretty close. I mean, there still might be a tiny advantage to spreading things out, but it's not as big of a difference as I'd have thought.
Totally agree. And the big thing here is both groups, way lower risk than those who weren't active at all. So weekend warrior, daily jogger, doesn't matter as much as just, getting out there and moving. It's good for your heart.
This is so good to hear. Like, I don't have to become a gym rat to take care of my heart. Yeah.
And to get even more granular here, some researchers, they've gone beyond just those big outcomes, like heart attacks or lifespan. They've started looking at what are called biomarkers. Basically, these little clues in our blood that can tell us a lot about our health.
Oh, so like cholesterol, blood sugar, that kind of stuff.
You got it. And guess what they found?
Yeah.
Weekend warriors and regularly active people, their cardiometabolic profiles, they were super similar. This means even with the different routines, their bodies were showing all these good signs health-wise.
So even the weekend warriors, they're fitting it all into less time, their bodies are still benefiting like on a deeper level. That's pretty reassuring. But quick question. If this UK Biobank study, it was so huge, why even look at other research?
Great point. So the UK Biobank, amazing for looking at chances of getting specific diseases, but it didn't really cover some of the other big stuff, heart attack risk, how long we live, all that. And that's where these other studies, they come in, they paint a fuller picture, of how well this weekend warrior approach is really working.
So it's like we're getting this multidimensional view, big data on disease from UK Biobank, then these other studies zeroing in on those specific things, heart health, longevity.
Exactly. And when you put it all together, the message, it's pretty clear. It's not so much when you move, it's that you move. Getting to that 150-minute goal, that seems to be the key.
That's such a relief, honestly, for anyone who's ever felt bad about missing a workout or two during the week.
Yeah, I hear you. And think about the people who thought, well, I can't exercise every single day, so why bother? This research is saying, hey, don't give up. Even if you're crazy, those weekend warrior workouts, they can still make a huge difference.
This is eye-opening, really. But, gotta admit, it's got me thinking. If even a little activity is so good, what if we go beyond that 150 minutes? And could we, even with a busy schedule, maybe fit in little bursts of movement throughout the week? Would that give us even more benefits?
Now, those are some great questions, and exactly the kind of things we should be asking. Makes you wonder, right, if there are even more health benefits waiting to be unlocked, just by being smart about how we move.
Totally. So as we keep going with this deep dive, what's the big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Here's the thing. It's never too late to start all right. And you don't have to turn your whole life upside down to see those benefits from exercise. Even if it's just the weekend, those weekend warrior workouts, they are doing something good.
Love that. It's not another chore on the list. It's about celebrating what our bodies can do. This has been so helpful. It's great to know that even with our busy lives, we can still put our health first and get those awesome benefits from moving.
Absolutely. It's been great digging into this with you.
Me too. So as we wrap up this Weekend Warrior deep dive, what's the final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
It really comes down to this. Listen to your body. Figure out what works for you. Weekend warrior, daily mover, whatever feels good. The important thing is, make activity something you enjoy, something you look forward to, not dread. And every little bit counts. Remember that.
Love it. Movement as a celebration. This has been so great, honestly, so inspiring. It's good to know that no matter how crazy life gets, we've got the power to put our health first and enjoy all the amazing things our bodies can do when we move.
I couldn't agree more.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, every step, every stretch, it all adds up. So get out there. Find what moves you. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.